I was born in Italy, one of the most beautiful countries in the world. But my parents decided to move to the United States where they had freedom and opportunity. So I grew up in none other than Miami, Florida. Statistically, I should be a Democrat because I'm an immigrant, right? Well, wrong. I am a gun loving, God fearing, conservative Republican whose mission in life is to spread the gospel and promote conservatism. Come with me on this journey as we explore controversial topics of today and sit with the nation's most influential people. This is To the Point with Lucia Scatamacchia.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Point with Lucia Scatamacchia. Today I have the lovely Anne Marie Gennusa, who is a local attorney and business owner with a proven track record in criminal defense. She has successfully run her law firm since 1999 and managed employees in the day-to-day operations of the business. Gennusa received the Martindale Hubble rated AV Permanent, which is the highest possible rating for an attorney to attain. Congrats on that.
Thank you. It was a few years ago, but I appreciate that.
During her 25 years in her legal career, she has served as public defender, criminal defense attorney, assistant to the state attorney, and private practitioner. She has a diversified background and is well-rounded and a balanced perspective. And she is the best person for this position. The RNHA of Florida is proud to stand by Anne Marie Gennusa in her election bid for Florida's 7th Circuit Public Defender. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I really appreciate the kudos.
That intro.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. How are you today?
Well, I'm well, considering it was supposed to have, a hurricane, and really the sun is shining up here in St. Johns County, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah,
Beautiful.
So maybe our internet will be okay while we're doing this. That would be great.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm in Miami, Florida, so we're happy as well that we sort of dodged that hurricane. I've been seeing some funny posts that the hurricane heard about all the mask mandates in Florida and decided to take a turn. So that's pretty
that'd
great.
Be great.
So I really want to do this interview and have our listeners and potential voters get to know more of who you are. And the first question I want to dive into has to do with your years of experience. You've been in a legal career for 25 years, and I'm sure you've seen several things change in this nation and in Florida. So with that, what was the biggest challenge of a public defender back then in contrast to now?
Well, I started my career first as a legal intern in Philadelphia, which was a very, very busy criminal docket. My first legal job as an attorney was in the South Bronx, representing thousands of people yearly as a public defender. So I had obviously a point of reference when I came to Florida, and Florida was very, very different than New York and Philadelphia. What I'm seeing the change over the last 21 years that I've been in Florida is that we are finally going towards alternative courts and diversion programs and things that will give people an opportunity and a second chance. That's in the right direction here in Florida, because we did that in New York and we did that in Pennsylvania. So if I had to say the biggest change I've seen is that Florida is finally coming into, I like to call the new millennial, where they are actually exploring options like drug court, domestic violence court would be definitely a very good one. Teen court for, young offenders, for juveniles. So that makes me really, really happy that in 2020, Florida is actually going in that direction, because you do have a lot of people of color, that, or, they don't, English is not their first language. So it's nice to be able to work with everybody, to give everybody, an equal chance. So I'm very happy to see that at this point in my career.
Oh, that's good. And what do you believe is the challenge now as a public defender?
I think the challenge is always money. Yeah, I think the challenge is always money. And that's something that even as far back in New York has always been the challenge of funding the programs and funding the attorneys that are going to represent the individuals who are charged with the crimes. Because remember, they're indigent, and so they don't have the money. Sure. So really it becomes a taxpayer issue. And to me, I believe if I'm elected, bringing my business skills to bear, I will be able to look at other alternatives other than raising taxes. Like, the legislature does
Good.
that, and they're responsible for the budgeting. But I think it's very important as an organization to see what you can do within your organization. Grant writing is something I think that we should explore. Private donations and donors that are willing, that believe in the cause and they believe in the system.
That's good.
The way
Right.
that people will leave bequests to law schools. Why shouldn't they be able to do that if they choose, to do so with the public defender's office? I think that that's really
Right.
important and very untapped. Sheriff's
Sure.
office, they do it. So I think that we as the public defender's office should explore other
Hmm.
remedies other than just raising taxes.
That's a
Ultimately,
good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
that will
Mhm.
lessen the taxpayer burden, and not be that, it becomes like rote, like, oh, we'll just raise taxes. Well, that's not going to help. You need to be able to help the problem and see what avenues you haven't explored yet, and then go to the next level, which is what I'm hoping to bring to bear if I'm elected.
I think that's an excellent point. And you said we can also get donations from people who believe in the cause. And what we're seeing now is a lot of celebrities deciding to donate quite a lot of money for rioters and protesters, etc.,
Mhm.
so that they can, have lawyers. However, if we can just channel that to the public defender's office and use it
Well,
for a
the
good, I
people,
think that would be
right.
great. Yeah.
The people that need the representation. I mean, nobody's going to sit here and tell you that we condone crime. That's not what the Office of the Public Defender does. But if
Sure.
the system is going to work, then you have to have zealous representation. You need to have money to fund that mandate of representation. It's a constitutional mandate. You have a right to
Sure.
an attorney. So I just think that my experience, not common sense thing. I think that there's things that they should have explored that haven't been done. And I think I
Yeah.
bring a fresh perspective that my opponents don't.
I
So,
love
and
that.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. And what is the case that you have worked on that has left the biggest impact on you by far?
I'm also a family law attorney, and they always really affect me just because there's always children involved and everything. But
Sure.
there's been two cases. One of them actually was a family law case. I won't really get into that in detail, but really I
Mhm.
had a death penalty case where
Yeah.
there were co-defendants, and they believed that my client was the more culpable or more guilty one, and it was clearly because he had a different upbringing. The actual co-defendant was a valedictorian of his class. Parents were still married. There was no dysfunction there. And he was, as far as I was concerned, the perpetrator that started all this. And my guy was the co-defendant. And when the jury came back with, I think, life over death, that to me showed me in my heart. Because sometimes you don't really believe the system works. I mean, you try to go through it, but but everybody's entitled to their defense. You have victims that are entitled to their day in court.
Sure.
And with this particular case, he was very young, and I just, look, the crime is heinous. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It was a murder, and it was sad, and somebody lost a family member. But when the jury listened to all the evidence and all the mitigation, they found him
Yeah.
guilty of murder, which was appropriate based on circumstances. But the fact that they, rendered an opinion as to, or made a suggestion to the court as to life over death, to me restored some faith in the system, and it made me feel like, okay, you know what, this is definitely worthy. Everybody's entitled to a defense. I don't have to have coffee or tea with them, but we do our job, and we do our job the best we can, making sure that he's protected and that the Constitution works. So that
Oh,
was kind of
wow.
that was really an exciting one for me. So
Oh, good. Yeah. That gives you just so much continued hope in the system. And when you get elected, you can also carry that out and show
yeah.
people that our system, in fact, works by design. And the next question I have for you is what is something voters wouldn't know about you just by looking at you?
Oh, that's a funny one. I'm 4'11", so I've had, when I go to these events, I had people like, "Oh, I thought you were so much taller." No, 4'11". Might be even a little smaller now because I'm over 50, and I think that I've kind of shrunk over the last few years. But yeah, so
Oh
that's
my
usually disarming.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
The
5'4".
other
I'm
is,
5'4".
always, yeah, like, oh, they always misjudge my age too. I mean, I'm 53, so when they call me a girl, or young lady, I always chuckle about that. But yeah, those are
Oh
the two
my
things.
gosh. For me, so I'm in Miami, and they have been calling me lately. I just turned 25, by the way.
Oh
They've
my God,
just
you're
been
still a baby.
calling me. Thank you. They've been calling me señora, and señora in Spanish is like, you
Older.
know,
You're
you're old, you're
señorita.
an older lady. And so I correct them, I'm like, no, señorita.
Señorita. Sí,
I'm not
sí.
there. I'm not there yet.
That's awesome.
But that's awesome. I love that. So one of the last questions I have for you is, the public defender is an elected official who has a constitutional duty to provide legal representation to people in danger of losing their liberty and who cannot afford to hire a private attorney. So what makes you the person who can carry out this constitutional duty?
Well, the one great thing is I bring with me not only the legal experience, which I think is important, over 3 decades. I mean, as a lawyer, however, I was a paralegal for 7 years prior to that. In regards to my business background, we have a budget of over $13 million. That's taxpayer
Sure.
funded. And I think being a good steward and fiscally responsible is of ultimate importance when you're in that type of position. Neither of my opponents currently are business owners or, have to deal with the day-to-day dealings of a business. I also have, in addition to my law degree, I have 2 master's certificates, certified level, government contracting and human resource management, which is extremely important when the hiring, the firing, making sure you comply with the labor laws and stuff like that. So not only do you get somebody who is a lawyer, but who actually has been a CEO of a corporation and can do the human resource component and work well with whoever is in my inner core or group of running that
Sure.
office. And to me, it's great if you've been practicing 25. Like, that's great that I'm a practicing lawyer for 25. But what's more important is that I just have more than just legal experience. I have business experience. I have community experience. I have, mom experience. Medical experience.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, like
So
very well
well-rounded
rounded.
woman.
And I
Yes,
think that
thank you.
that's super, super important. Probably more important than per se the legal experience, because look, you can become a lawyer and you can try cases, and we all do. I mean, 25 years, I could go back to when I was a newbie lawyer versus the kind of lawyer I am now. Probably judgment over the time, you become more mature, and you can't fake life experience. And so
Good.
I think, and look, that's nothing wrong. I raised 5 kids. My youngest stepson is 33. So I totally understand, how that is. And, the bravado of when I was in my 20s, absolutely. And I applaud that. But that's a wonderful thing for the place you're going to be. For an office of the public defender that has, staff of over 100 and a budget of over 13.5 million,
Sure.
I think that you need somebody who's ready to go in and really, roll his sleeves up and jump in and do what really needs to be done for the office. And I believe, and I know that I'm the only candidate who'll be able to do that. And not only that, but the best candidate to be able to do that. So.
Amen. And that's why you are endorsed
Amen.
by our organization. It is extremely hard to get an endorsement from us. You
I was
probably would
thrilled. I mean,
know.
I'm so grateful for that.
And
So
so
grateful.
we have faith that you are the best candidate for this. What is one thing you want to leave the voters with before I let you go?
It's really easy to vote in the same type of person over and over again. I think it takes courage, as we saw in our country, especially with somebody like President Trump, to take a chance. And I'm grateful that I've been given, the doors have opened, and God's given me a gift that I've been able to benefit other people that don't have, either the background to do so or the financial resources. I've been very blessed in that regard. And the way that I've done it in private practice, beginning my business with $10,000, you have my word and my bond that I would do everything within my power to do everything I can do with the money that we have, to making sure that the mandate and most of all the Constitution is upheld. And I don't think you can ask for anything more than that. So I would ask
Amen.
for, their vote, your vote, and anybody in this area who can vote for me. So I
And
really
where
appreciate
can
your
they
time.
find you? On social media? Maybe donate to your campaign?
Yeah, they can. You can go to Facebook. If you look up Anne Marie Gennusa, public defender, it'll pop up. And my website is AMG 2020. So A is an apple, M is an Mary, G is in George, 2020.com. So I really appreciate your time. I'm glad we finally were able to connect. I feel like
I'm happy
so,
about
and
that as
congratulations
well.
to you. I'm excited to see where the
Thank
future's
you.
going to take you. So,
Oh, I'm excited too. I'm excited to start my journey in law school. We'll be reaching out for help if I have any
of course,
questions.
and
That's for
you
sure.
can call me. And, you know, if voters want to talk to me, I mean, there's not a lot of candidates who are willing to talk one-on-one. I definitely am. So my cell phone's on my website. People can reach out to me. I mean, I have a business. If they want to call me through the business, they can do that too. So,
You are approachable, and I love that about you.
Thank you.
Well, guys, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out other videos that we have. As always, I'm Lucia Scatamacchia, and this is To The Point. Thank you once again for coming on, and I can't wait for you to win.
Oh, you know, I love it, and I'd be the first female, so that's super exciting as well. But not, you know, not the most important thing, but the thing is, I know I'll do a great job. So I really do appreciate it, and God bless you, and thank you to everybody. So
thank you. Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye.